What is up, you guys? Taylor checking in for the prop edition for UFC Vegas 93. Tatsuro Taira taking on Alex Perez in a main event slot. This is a big test for him. First off, potentially going 5 rounds, but you could also say it's a step up in competition. Alex Perez coming off a solid W. Perez, a dude that's fought for the belt in the past, and even though he was going through a tough little skid there for a while, having a hard time finding a win in the UFC, he was fighting high-level talent. So I'm very excited to see how that fight plays out. You guys know I love me some flyweight action. Make sure you guys are following me over at IG so you guys can see all types of dope graphics coming your guys' way. Through this together, this is some of the top young talent working its way towards the top in the flyweight division. Of course, I had a headline by Tatsuro Taira. You guys know I'm very high on him. I think that Taira, when it's all said and done, will have the superior MMA resume over Muhammad Mokaev. For whatever reason, I think that we're going to always kind of compare Taira and Mokaev to each other throughout the years. And, well, I say for whatever reason. The reason is because they both bursted onto the scene in the UFC, coming in as big-time favorites, delivering on the hype that was pushed behind them. They're both still undefeated, and they started their UFC careers off very young. Both these fighters still very young. You see the ages under their names here. Taira, 24 years old. Mokaev, 23. Both dudes got zeros there on the lost side of things on their records. And these are the Tapology rankings. So Tapology a lot higher on Mokaev than I am compared to Taira. Taira at 12, Mokaev at 5. Time will tell. You guys comment below, and you guys tell me who do you think will have the superior MMA resume when it's all said and done. Now, listen, out of all these top up-and-coming young fighters in this division, we're going to be able to see 3 of them perform this upcoming weekend. Tatsuro Taira, we're going to get to see Almabayev and Joshua Van all perform this upcoming weekend. So you guys go check the list out. Go give me some feedback there. I'm curious who you guys are high on out of this list. We're going to be a little bit more selective on today's episode with the prop bets that I throw your guys' way. I think right now we're looking at about 4 that I want to talk about. And there's one that I'm going to lock in here with you guys on the show. I'm going to head over to BETUS, and I'm going to throw a hefty bet right here in this video so you guys can see where I'm throwing some money for this upcoming weekend's event. And just remember, we are powered by BETUS. Sign up through the link in the description of this video. Get a 125% match on your first 3 deposits. There's no other sports books that are giving deposit bonuses like BETUS. I mean, there's no argument there. So if you guys do sign up through that link, let me know so I could send you guys over an additional gift, and then you guys can take that account and start to roll with it, build it up, and it starts this weekend at UFC Vegas 93. The first fight we're going to be talking about is one of my favorite fights on the card. If you guys caught my full prediction video, you guys know this is a fun one for me. Jekka Serrae taking on Weston Wilson, aka the baby giraffe, the originator of giraffe syndrome. Now, that's not necessarily true. Giraffe syndrome has been around long before we even knew who Weston Wilson was, before he made his UFC debut, but he's just so full of giraffe syndrome that he is the creator. So take that for what you will. It doesn't really make sense, but it is what it is. Now, I will say this much. I do want to brush upon the fact that I do have a great deal of respect for Weston Wilson. So if you guys don't really catch on to the fact that I'm kind of just having some fun and joking around, I want to make sure that I do clear that up, because I am pulling for Weston Wilson to win this fight first and foremost. I've been kind of checking him out on IG throughout the years. This is a dude that has battled in blood on the regional scene for many years. He's 35 years old, and obviously it meant so much to him to get a chance to fight in the UFC. He's actually had 2 chances now, and he got knocked out brutally in both of those fights. Obviously, I mean, this guy is just praying to finally fulfill his, probably what I would assume would be his lifelong dream, to fight in the UFC and get a victory. Okay, so he seems to be a solid dude. He posted a little video on IG here just this week, kind of showing how he has these hopes and dreams to go into the octagon and fulfill his dream there. So I hope that he could pull it off, man. But if I'm being honest with you guys know, and if you caught my full prediction video, you guys know I am favoring Jekka Serrae, touching him up in this fight and getting him out of there. I mean, I do. If I have to pick a way that this fight's going to go, that's the way that I would favor. But I'm going to throw you guys a curveball here, okay? Jekka Serrae, not the most proven fighter, to say the least. Was completely exposed with his grappling in his UFC debut against Anshul Jubli, who is a fighter that's not proven, to say the least, right now as well, okay? Now, he did get that surprise upset knockout over Lucas Alexander, but look at the resume before stepping into the UFC. I mean, this dude is very unproven, even though he is a striker, so he will have opportunities to land that big knockout shot against the defensively flawed Weston Wilson. Like I said, I am going to throw you guys a curveball here just based on where these odds are. Okay, right now over at BETUS, you can get the over 1.5 rounds at plus 225. I think there is some potential value there. I would much rather be targeting that value line than to be chasing a huge, minus 285 line on hoping that Jekka gets him out of there and under a round and a half, because Jekka may still knock him out, but even if you pass the 1.5 round marker there, you still cash in on that bet. So now let's man up and put my money where my mouth is. All right. This is a fun fight. Wilson versus Jekka Serrae. I'm going to put some big money up on a big underdog or plus value play here. We head over to Weston Wilson versus Jekka Serrae on BETUS. We click on markets, where we are going to target the over 1.5 at plus 225. Let me make sure you guys can see this bet I'm about to lock in here. You guys should be able to see that in the top right. I'm going to throw 1K on the play. And if you guys can see that there, I'm going to confirm that is to win $2,250. It's a little bit of a long shot there, so bear with me, but I think it will make the fight even more fun. And I'm not even saying this is an official play, but we are throwing some action on this play, and I think it will spice the video up, and hopefully we cash. And if we get this video here up to, I don't even know what the standard is, but let's get it up to 500 likes or something like that. Comment below as well, and if the play cashes, maybe the teller dishes out some of the profits that we get there. If you like this video, comment below and then shoot me a message on IG. I'm going to pick somebody and I'm going to shoot them a little something there. All right. So, I know I got to put that together a little bit more cleanly, but I do want to start doing some more giveaways and whatnot. If you guys can see that the bet is locked in, you've got yourself a bet. Let's go, boys. All right. My blood's pumping now after locking that bet in. And another fight I do want to talk about in the flyweight division, a high caliber flyweight match between Taira Ulenbeckov and Joshua Van. This fight is very intriguing. Joshua Van is still only 22 years old and has shown some major flashes inside the octagon already. Imagine what he's going to look like when he's 28, 29 years old, especially even when he even cruises into his 30s, 31, 32, when he's in his physical prime. This guy is going to be a true threat to this division. The issue I do see with him, for him here, is the fact that he's fighting Taira Ulenbeckov, who is 32. He's at that moment right now. Taira Ulenbeckov has 17 pro fights under his belt, has about 6 more professional fights. He's more mature of a fighter, surrounds himself with some of the true G's of the game right now. You guys know that, man. Those Dagestani dudes, they're true professionals. And Taira is coming into this fight with a lot of confidence after he just had a big-time submission victory. I believe he locked in that rear naked choke, over Cody Durden in the second round. Submitted Nate Maness before that. So, yeah, he is a bit of a fight finisher. And Joshua Van has been submitted before. You know what, though, man? And we're going to talk about what I'm targeting for this fight. I'll tell you what. I really, really hope that Joshua Van can make this a competitive fight, and I do think that there is the potential that it could play out closely. He's gonna have to showcase that he's continuing to work on his takedown defense and his overall skill set. As far as the striking goes, we know that Joshua Van can hang with him. And in fact, if this was a straight kickboxing match, a straight striking match, I think Joshua Van gets the better of Taira Ulenbeckov. But Ulenbeckov will be changing levels. Joshua Van has to threaten offensively, kind of to scare Taira from just getting reckless with takedown attempts. And I think that there's potential for this fight to go to a decision. And as I look at the over-under on the 2.5 rounds, I favor this fight going over 2.5 rounds. I do. It opened up at minus 190. Okay, so when this line opened up, it was heavily favored to pass 2.5 rounds. Now, for whatever reason, people are not feeling the same. And I think it is for the fact that people think that Ulenbeckov is going to get a sub here, or they think that even Joshua Van could land with his striking and potentially get a finish as well as he looks to pick things up. But my gut's telling me that this fight is going to go to a decision. And real quick, also, we just note Joshua Van in his most recent fights, some of the work he's been doing, he is coming off that knockout victory over Felipe Bunes. But also just note, Tager is a little bit of a different fighter, a much more polished fighter. And before that, though, decision victories over Zhalgas Zhumagulov and Kevin Borjas. Those were his first 2 fights in the UFC. So, I mean, I don't know if he gets a finish on Tager there. I'm feeling a decision in this fight, and I'm going to say that Tager digs deep with the grappling and kind of slightly takes the fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if the fight plays out somewhat close. But for any of you guys that are wondering who I'm on for the fight, if you guys didn't catch the full prediction video, I do like Tager Ulenbeckov to get the job done. I think that he does win that fight, but at essentially pick'em odds, give me the over 2.5 rounds on that very high caliber flyweight matchup there. In the welterweight division, we got a bit of an under-the-radar type of fight here. 2 dogs that are going to go at it. Josh Quinlan comes into this fight off a loss. We did capitalize on that loss there. We did have an official play on Danny Barlow, but do understand that Danny Barlow is a fighter that I'm very high on. If you guys remember, I made that whole video about him. I think that the length he has to go along with the striking and boxing skills he has, he's going to be a major problem as his game rounds out. And he got that finish there in the 3rd round, but I thought that Quinlan showed some extreme toughness in that fight, showed extreme toughness in the Trey Waters fight as well. Went to a decision there, even though he was getting a little bit outmatched, I would say. But Trey Waters is a very talented fighter. We saw that again in his last fight. And before that, he had a nice knockout victory over Jason Witt. Jason Witt, since then, has been let go by the UFC. But I'm not completely down and out on Josh Quinlan. So first and foremost, if you guys didn't catch the full video, I am on Josh Quinlan to win this fight. I like him on the money line, which when I did that video, it was at dead even pick'em odds. Since then, we've seen a lean going towards Josh Quinlan's way. But we're not here to talk about that, right? We're here to talk about a prop bet for this fight. What I am liking for this fight here is the under 1.5 rounds at plus 170. I think that there is a realistic possibility that we see either of these men finished. I think there is a realistic possibility. Josh Quinlan comes in this fight after taking a lot of damage and getting knocked out. Adam Fugette is a fighter that we've seen finished often. In fact, he's been finished every time we've seen him on the big stage, and even going back to his to the regional scene where he fought over on LFA, he was finished by Kalen Hill in the 1st round. You had to go all the way back to the Austin Vanderford fight in 2017, where Vanderford was using his wrestling skills to just drag that fight out. But he's been finished, and I know it was against high caliber fighters, but he's been finished in all 3 of his losses on the big stage. He brings the fight. He's looking to land damage, but he puts himself in vulnerable positions at times. Josh Quinlan carries some serious power. At plus 170, why not head over to BETUS and lock in the under 1.5 rounds here? That's kind of what I'm liking in regards to that fight. And I do like Quinlan on the money line, though. I just want to say that again. I'm not crazy about it. Not saying it's an official play, but since we're talking about that fight, I am on the Quinlan side. I want to make that clear.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
To the main event, Tatsuro, Taira taking on Alex Perez. We already brushed upon the backstory to this fight. Very, very excited for this match. And before we jump into any type of prop bet or whatnot, I want to be clear. I do like Tatsuro Taira to win this fight. I've been backing him for a while now. I think he lives up to the hype. And if you were to target him on the money line, you could have locked him in as low as minus 170 when this line first came out. That's where he opened up at BetUS at minus 170. I think there was definitely value on that minus 170 line. He is currently a minus 200 favorite. And I know this is a step up, and this is a big test for him. At 2-1 odds, I would say that if you didn't lock that bet in, I would actually still encourage you maybe to throw some action on him. I'm really high on this kid. I think that he's going to show that he is a very high fight IQ fighter. Okay, this isn't a Matheus Nicolau that's going out there and entertaining a kickboxing match with Alex Perez, throwing bombs in the pocket, coming in off a fight where you were just brutally knocked out, when Alex Perez has shown to have defensive deficiencies with his grappling, right? He's a fighter that's been subbed 5 times out of his 8 losses. 72% of his losses have come by way of sub. We've seen him subbed early on in his fights. So I think that Tatsuro Taira is going to close the distance. I think he's a high fight IQ fighter. I think he's going to close the distance, work some type of collar, tie up, somehow drag this fight down to the mat and start to work his grappling. And I think he may find an early submission in this fight. We saw Pantoja pull that off. We saw Figueiredo pull it off in the first round against him. We saw him knocked out against Joseph Benavidez in the first round. That was a while back as well. Just to kind of go over some of the losses he's had. He was submitted by Adam Antolin and Jared Papazian. If you remember Jared Papazian, no picture here, but he is a recognizable name. He was subbed by both of those guys in the first round. I know that he's came a long way since those fights. He's obviously a much more mature fighter. And he was coming off quite a little bit of a layoff recently, and he's starting to get his feet wet. I just think that in the meantime, Tatsuro Taira is now getting better and better rapidly. He's 24 years old. He's extremely young. He's showing all these flashes. He's going to look better and better right in front of our eyes, right? As he goes to 25, 26, 27, this dude's going to really start to grow with his skill set. And I just think that there's a good chance that he pulls off the sub in this fight, but that's not what we're talking about here, okay? And we're not talking about money line or sub. This is what we're talking about here. The play that I want to give out in regards to the main event here for a prop bet is the under 2.5 rounds, which is at plus 115 plus odds on BetUS right now. Even if you want to play devil's advocate for all you Perez dudes out there, I think we could agree on this play because Perez is a dude that throws heat, throws heavy strikes. Maybe we see Taira get tested there. Maybe he gets cracked with the big shot and Perez finishes him up over there as well. So this is a test for Taira. This is a step up in competition. So you have that element going on too. But I think the more likely situation is that Taira finds a sub. And here's the difference, right? So you could target Taira to win this fight or inside the distance. It's like right around pick 'em odds, or you could target him to have that specific method of victory right around minus 130, I believe it is, or plus 130, excuse me, plus 125, 130, or plus 125, plus 130. But you know what? Maybe you played a little bit safer. You just hit the under 2.5 rounds. And then you got both sides of the coin where you have Perez or Taira if a finish happens in any type of way. And, but I am favoring Taira to get an early sub in this fight. So that's a play that I like in regards to the main event. All right, guys, if you found this video helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. You're going to see all types of content coming your guys' way if you subscribe. I'm working on a lot of new things. If you guys didn't hear, I'm about to start doing these reaction videos. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. I should have one of those pumped out later tonight as well. And that's where I'm going to find interesting content on the web, kind of show a little bit, some clips from those videos, and then I'm going to give you guys my reaction. And moving forward, we'll do that for all the big things going on in the MMA world, right? Any type of new content that comes out on the web that people are talking about, we'll throw some clips up here. We'll do reaction videos because you guys know nobody's reacting to that type of stuff like the Teller, man. We'll keep it interesting. We'll keep it wild. Maybe I'll brush some of you guys the wrong way. Maybe some of you guys will find it entertaining. I don't know. You guys comment below. Let me know what you guys think. If you want my official plays for this event, do not be shy to reach out to me, whether it's through email, Instagram, or Twitter. Just shoot me a message. I'll give you guys the details on how you guys can get my official plays. I am targeting 2 official plays for this event. I'm keeping it just limited, but I'm really sniping in on the 2 plays that I'm looking at. I'm going to hit both those. It's going to be a clean sweep. You're going to see me on IG doing the dances and whatnot. That's what we're looking at for this upcoming weekend, because last weekend wasn't a good one. We had a rough weekend, but we did have 2 very solid cards before that. But last weekend was a rough one. We're bouncing back with a big event here. And like I said, follow me on IG at MMA Fortune Teller _ because I'm going to be dancing around, celebrating. And we're still trying to hit that 10K mark. Help me out there, boys. All right. We'll leave you guys on that note there. Signing out. Teller.
Welcome to the show. This is the MMA Fortune Teller. Yeah.
The MMA Fortune Teller.
The teller.